everybody, and this is Vanshika. You are watching my channel Knowledge World. So as you know that we were covering the chapter of Science Class 8 NCERT textbook, and the chapter's name was Conservation of Plants and Animals. So as you know that we were studying from the online notes of the site Ask IITians. So I'm just opening those notes and we will recapitulate the previous lectures things and then proceed with our today's topics. Yes, everybody. So I have opened the notes of past IITians, and in the previous two lectures, what we have covered. So let us recapitulate the thing firstly. So we have studied certain terms like biosphere, biodiversity, wildlife sanctuary, national park, and biosphere reserve. If you want to know about them in detail, then you can check my previous two videos. And then we studied about deforestation and its causes with certain pictures, and then consequences of deforestation with this chart, and then we discussed these questions. We have also discussed this banner and biosphere reserves in India. We have discussed certain wildlife sanctuaries we have discussed in this, and flora and fauna we have discussed. Endemic species also we have discussed. Wildlife sanctuaries we have discussed. So today we have to uh, study about wildlife sanctuaries in India. So just look at this picture. Now we will begin with the reading and explanation. So, Indian wildlife sanctuaries have unique landscapes which include broad level forests, mountain forests, and bushlands in deltas of big rivers. So, it is telling a bit about the Indian wildlife sanctuaries, that they have broad level, big level forests and mountain forests also, big rivers they have, deltas they have. So, they protect several threatened wildlife species such as golden cat, pink-headed duck, black buck, white-eyed bug, gharial, marsh crocodile, elephant rhinoceros, and python. So these are the endangered species. That's why it is written threatened wildlife species, because they are endangered. They may face the risk of extinction in a few years maybe. So these were the examples. You may note down them in your notebook. So unfortunately, people encroach upon the land of these protected forest areas and destroy them. Some people are there, some hunters or whatever we can say, people are there who encroach these lands, who go there and destroy the forest, the protected areas, and harm the animals also. There are 543 wildlife sanctuaries in India. So there are 543 wildlife sanctuaries. This is a fact, you can note this down, which includes as many as 50 tiger reserves. 50 tiger reserves are there where mainly tigers are protected, which focus on the conservation of the tiger. The same thing which I have told you. The tiger reserves work under Project Tiger. We have also studied about Project Tiger. Jim Corbett was the first tiger reserve of India. Jim Corbett National Park. It was the first tiger reserve of India. It is situated in Uttarakhand, as we all know, and is the oldest national park in India. Jim Corbett National Park, we also say that. Project Tiger is a government initiative to protect tigers, as the name suggests. Project Tiger, so it projects mainly tigers. Its objective was to ensure the survival and maintenance of the population of tigers in India. So it protects tiger mainly, and this project was started. This initiative was taken by the government to maintain the number of tigers in India, maintain the tiger population in India. Similarly, some of these wildlife sanctuaries are also called the bird sanctuaries, as they focus on protecting birds. Some sanctuaries are there for birds also, and thus they are called the bird sanctuaries because they protect the birds. So, Kyoledio national park, you may note down the name. Kyoledeo National Park, for example, was a bird sanctuary before it attained the national park status. Kyoledeo National Park was previously, formerly a bird sanctuary, but later on it attained the name of national park. That's why we are studying Kyoledeo National Park. So some national parks focus on conserving a particular species. For example, Javai Leopard Sanctuary, which is in Rajasthan, mainly focuses on the conservation of leopards, as the name suggests. So from this we studied about the Project Tiger, uh, about Kyoledeo National Park, and we also learned that some national parks focus on the conservation of a specific species. So let's proceed with our next topic, which is national park. National parks are large forest reserves that attempt to preserve the entire ecosystems within the area, included the landscape, flora, fauna, and historic objects of the area. So national parks are such areas which are reserved to save the ecosystem also, and it includes the flora also, means plants also, and fauna means animals also, plus some historic objects are also there. Satpura National Park is the first reserve forest of India. This is also a fact. This can also come in your exams. Satpura National Park is the first of India. Within this forest, you can find the finest Indian teak as well as rock shelters, which are evidence of the prehistoric human life in the area. And this picture was given here. So from this we learnt about the Satpura National Park, which was the first reserve of India and consisted of mainly finest quality of teak, Indian teak, and rock shelters also. As we studied in the national parks, defined that historic objects are also there in the national park. So Satpura National Park has also some rock shelters, which are the evidences of the prehistoric human life living in that area. So these are the rock shelters. You can see, you may notice these drawings made by the early humans. We have studied in SST also that they used to convey messages, convey things, or whatever they used to see, they draw them on their these type of walls. So there are a total of 55 rock shelters in Pachmari Biosphere Reserve, which also feature rock paintings depicting figures of men fighting with animals, hunting scenes, dancing and playing musical instruments. Many tribal are still living in that area. So same thing it is showing. There are 55 rock shelters in Pachmari Biosphere Reserve. As you know that the NCERT textbook within this chapter is mainly focusing on the Pachmari Biosphere Reserve. So certain things are given in between for regarding the Pachmari Biosphere Reserve. So there are 55 rock shelters in that Biosphere Reserve, and rock paintings are also there, and this painting is depicting the men fighting with animals and all these scenes. These scenes were depicted. And many tribals are also living in that same area also. So let's proceed with the next topic for today, and it is national parks in India. So there are 104 national parks in India. You may note down this figure. Top 10 of these national parks include, these are the top 10 national parks: Jim Corbett National Park, Kaziranga, Gir Forest, Sundarban, Satpura National Parks, Iravikulam National Park, Pench National Park, Sariska, Kahana, Rantham, Bor. We all have learnt about these, means studied about these in our GK also and SST also. So there are certain questions here, we will discuss these. Why do animals become extinct? Disturbances in the natural habitat of animals make it difficult for them to survive and hence become extinct. For example, dinosaurs become extinct thousands of years ago. So animals mainly extinct because of one reason, and that is disturbance in the natural habitat, or the destruction in their natural habitat. So when human interference is there in their natural habitat, then they may face the risk of extinction. An example is also given here, which is of dinosaurs. The second question given here for discussing is, why do we need to conserve animals? Animals such as lizards, snakes, owls and bats play a particular role in an ecosystem and help in maintaining its balance. They maintain the food chain mainly, as it is written here also. They form part of food chains and food webs. There is a proper food chain in the nature which maintains the balance in nature also. So when these animals will die, then this whole balance will get destroyed. So we need to conserve animals. And what else is given here? We need to conserve different life forms to make sure that the natural balance does not get disturbed. Only this much is given, because we need to maintain that balance of food chains and whatever food webs, uh, so that the nature does not gets disturbed. What do we mean by an ecosystem? We are studying a term ecosystem from the starting of this lesson. So let's read about it also. An ecosystem refers to the living organisms and non-living components of a place, including plants, animals, microorganisms, climate, soil, river, deltas. So the relationship between the living organisms and their interrelationship with their non-living components, with the non-living components, is called the ecosystem. The next topic for today is Red Data Book. So the International Union for Conservation of Nature, means IUCN, maintains a record of all the endangered animals and plants in the world and calls it Red Data Book. So there is a record of endangered animals and plants in the world in this Red Data Book maintained by the IUCN. India also maintains its own Red Data Book, which keeps a record of endangered plants and animals which are found in India. This is clear enough. This is the golden toad. You may notice this also. The golden toad now makes the extinct as well as the extinct in the wild list of the IUCN Red List. Now we are going to study about some more terms which are related to this chapter, and these terms are not clearly specified in the NCERT book, so you may note down these all points. So there is a red data list too. Red data list is also there, which is also known as IUCN Red List of Threatened Species, or IUCN Red List. They maintain the red data book as well as the red data list also. This information is not given in the NCERT book. IUCN Red List, which classified all known plant and animal species into 9 groups. This red data list further divides the plants and animal species into 9 groups. We will understand all these. Extinct means no known individual of the species is alive, means even not a single species is alive of that group, of that species group. Even not a single species is alive, even not a single individual is alive. This is extinct. Then extinct in the wild, no known individual of the species in the wilderness, they exist only in captivity. Then critically endangered, species that are at extremely high risk of being extinct, means extreme high risk of getting extinct, are called critically endangered. And then endangered, species that are at high risk of being extinct. Endangered means that they are at a high risk of extinct. Pay attention that critically endangered means extremely high risk and endangered means only high risk. Then vulnerable, species that are at high risk of being endangered in the wilderness, means their species are diminishing and they will get endangered soon, and then after endangered they get extinct. So this is vulnerable. Near threatened, species that are likely to become endangered in the near future, means they will become endangered, likely to become endangered in the nearest future. So least concern, what is least concern? Species which are found in abundance and is not at risk, like dogs, you can say. Data deficient, species about which we do not have enough data or enough information to assess its extinction risk. Means those species about which we are not having, about whom we are not having enough record or enough information. Then not evaluated, species which has not yet been evaluated on the criteria adopted by the IUCN, means they are not under any evaluated criteria. Then what is given? Species that fall in the critically endangered, and vulnerable categories are also referred to as threatened species. You can note down all these points and this last point also. So this was all for today. Bye bye for today. So if you like this video, so please strike a like, share the video and subscribe to my channel for such best explanation videos. I hope you understood all the concept. Please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to get the latest notifications of my latest videos. Thank you for watching the video. Stay tuned with me and keep watching Knowledge World.